going to ask Ms. Gifford to please call roll. Being that this is a virtual meeting, we have to do this to stay in compliance. Ms. Gifford.
Thank you. When I call your name, please say here. Chair Sanchez.
Here.
Vice Chair Draghi.
Here.
Secretary Hertenberger.
Here.
Regent Marvel. Regent Marvel.
Can you hear me? Yeah, here.
Thank you. Regent Crum. Regent Shelton.
Here.
Regent Starkey.
Here.
Regent Taggart.
Here.
Regent Stutska. Dr. Crystal Albrecht.
Here.
Dr. Cindy Griffith.
Here.
Dr. Jade Bourne.
Here.
Mr. Carl Steger.
Here.
Karen Edwards.
Here.
Wendy Del Bello.
Here.
Mr. Matt Graves.
Here.
Okay. And I believe that's everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're
It is now 3:07 in the afternoon, and the meeting is hereby called to order. We have the presence of a quorum attending by video conference, and notice of this workshop has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Dr. Albrecht, do you certify that the notice of the meeting was posted in accordance with Title 5, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code?
I do so, certified.
Thank you. On March 16th, 2020, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a limited number of open meetings laws to the extent necessary to allow telephonic or video conference meetings in response to the coronavirus COVID-19. In accordance with those suspended rules, the board certifies the following. A, although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference. B, this meeting is being held by video conference because the convening at one location of a quorum of the governmental body is not appropriate during the COVID-19 public health emergency. C, based on current guidance from federal, state, and county authorities concerning large gatherings and social distancing during the COVID-19 public health emergency, there is no established location for an audience to observe the meeting. However, the live meeting is accessible through a web link that was timely and appropriately provided to the public and media as part of the meeting posting and via the college's website. As we would at any in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the standard instructions for registering to speak during the public comment portion will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board-adopted procedures to the extent practicable. A video recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public on the college's website. At this time, it is the portion of the meeting where we have citizen inquiries, and in accordance with ACC board policy, BDB local, time will be allotted at each regular meeting of the Board of Regents for public comment. Persons who wish to participate in the public comment portion of the meeting must sign up before the meeting begins and must indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. No presentation may exceed 5 minutes. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board may not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with the notice of the meeting. A person addressing the board who has a complaint or a concern who has not previously attempted to solve a matter administratively through resolution channels established by policy shall be referred to the appropriate policy to seek resolution. Ms. Gifford, I think we have a speaker today. Could you introduce that speaker, please?
Yes, ma'am. We have Mr. Dick Tyson. and he will be joining us.
Thank you. Dick, are you with us?
Yes,
Okay, and you have been given the information as to the guidelines that you have.
I'm now here.
Okay, thank you. We welcome you. And you've been given the information about the guidelines that you have to follow, right?
I understand I have 5 minutes
Yes,
to
sir.
speak, and
And-
possibly I can get a question answered.
Okay, well, this is the thing that you need to be aware of. If you go beyond the 5 minutes, the telephone call will just be disconnected, and you'll have to, if you want to watch the rest of the meeting, you'll just have to.
Will you warn me after 4?
Yes, I guess. Jay, can you be my watch person and give me a signal?
And who am I speaking with?
I'm sorry, this is Belle Sanchez, Chairman of the Board.
Well, I'm standing over here at the Nolan Ryan Center, and they
Okay.
have moved. They have moved the boxes they had here before, and you've been flagged at the state level, and I'm sure all the board members know it. We're not complying with the rules of the right, and now we're talking about putting a right of way in the state right of way. And I'm standing over here looking at 3 men with a shovel, replacing what was already there. And I'm looking at the Nolan Ryan Center, but you're putting the right of way. This is 2021 in our board meeting. And at 2022, we're going to start widening the area you're now building in. So it's not a savings to the public. It is a tremendous cost to the public. That's where we're at. The college will not follow the rules, and it was not posted online in accordance with the college rules. It was posted outside, and I just happened to walk by and see it. And thanks to the Learning Lab, who took me to the library, and we had a person working there that helped me get my new phone where it would work. So it isn't a fear, and it certainly isn't a worry. At my age, I'm not, the man above, I fear. The rest of the folks, sort of like y'all, we try and do the best we can. Right now, I'm walking through the fenced off area at Nolan Ryan, and we've totally trashed a wonderful building. And now we want to trash our freeway. And why we're building in the right of way, I don't have a clue. And I'm going to protest it till cows come home. Y'all should not vote for this, period. You weren't informed properly. You didn't follow the college guidelines. And I understand there's conflicts of interest all over the place, Madam Chairman, that we've let our friends make enough money. And some people have let their husbands make a little money. And that's not appropriate. We have conflicts of interest everywhere, including me, because we've got a good staff and we've got good people, but letting your friends make a little money is not appropriate. And trashing our community is not appropriate, because the cost of this is tremendous. You already moved everything. You haven't fixed the ditch, and now you want to build into the state right away, and it's got to be moved next year. So I don't understand what we're doing. And that's, I'm going to protest it. I have protested it, and it's not appropriate to have everything at the college online and yet not put anything online. That's not appropriate. And to post all the meetings inside and not outside, except this one. And this is a Friday afternoon, and most people aren't even around. So the board needs to look in the mirror and quit trashing our community. The cost of this is staggering. You've got electrical lines over here now. And you already had those boxes out there. You already had the stuff half built. we've been 2 years into this wonderful plan that the public voted against twice. The public voted against it twice, and y'all come up and still sign off on this plan.
You have 1 minute, Mr. Tyson.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I don't mean to rant and rave, but why are we doing this? I just don't understand. We've been millions of dollars on something that shouldn't have been done in the first place. Why didn't we keep Nolan here with all his extra stuff instead of putting it in the basement? So thank you, and I'll get off the phone. All right.
Thank you so much for your input, Mr. Tyson. We value your thoughts. Thank you. Okay, we are at the point now where we are going to consider the one item on our agenda for today. It's to consider approval of a Texas-New Mexico power easement at the Nolan Rhine Center. Dr. Albrecht, would you like to go over this, or do you want Carl and our Matt?
Well, I'll tee it up the best I know in simple terms and then ask either of them to fill in details. My understanding is that due to the fact that we have expanded our culinary lab and we have lots of gas ovens and stoves that will be in the area, the transformers that we had were not adequate to serve the needs of that equipment. And so we had to put in a bigger transformer that has to be poured on has a slab poured and then the transformer sits on the ground. But in order for Texas, and it will be owned by Texas New Mexico Power, which is different than a lot of the other transformers on our campus that we actually own. So AGCM was able to negotiate that with it, so it would be their issue. But in order for them to be able to maintain the transformer, they have to have an easement to be able to just get to the equipment and service it. So that's a simple layman's term. And then Matt, Carl, if you want to add to that.
Feel free to, fellas.
Yeah, I'll just say, I mean, everything's accurate there. I don't really have a whole lot more to add to it. Hopefully, those of you that did get the Adobe documents, we have pictures there with the agenda item. You can see the pictures. If you see the 3 consecutive slabs side by side, the one we're talking about is the one in the middle. If you were looking at those slabs left or right, the first slab is for the trash dumpster. The middle slab is for this transformer, and then the slab on the right will be for a future generator. Well, they're setting that up for a future generator. I can probably share that on the screen here just so you can see. So this is the slab we're talking about. This is where the transformer would go.
Not seeing it yet, Carl. Is anyone seeing it?
No. But we have pictures of it.
Okay.
We all sent pictures of it.
And that's really it. It's mainly because transformers on the pole are not big enough for the electrical needs of what we'll need with this culinary kitchen. And I'll turn it over to Matt Graves for any other items.
Did you need to add anything, Matt?
No, I would say they've teed it up perfectly. With the increased need for electrical in the building due to the culinary kitchen, from the museum, we're bigger than what we can do with a pole-mounted transformer, which is there existing. So you can't go a bigger pole-mounted transformer, so it has to go to a pad-mounted transformer, which is what we're doing. That's what the concrete pad there in the center is what Carl was talking about is being there for. So a requirement from any utility company when they're going to have a pad-mounted transformer like this is to have a utility easement, and that's just so they can have their equipment on your property, and then they can have access to it in the unlikely event something happens. They have to come maintain it. They have the access to do so.
Great, thank you, Matt. I would entertain a motion at this time on this item from Vice Chair Draghi.
I make a motion to approve the Texas New Mexico Power electric line easement agreement and authorize the president to sign on behalf of the college.
Vice,
second that.
thank you. So that is a motion by Vice Chair Draghi, a second by Secretary Hertenberger. We have a motion on the table. Regents, do you have questions for any of our speakers? Hearing none, I am. Go ahead.
I'll ask a question, Bill. Everything makes sense, the pad mount transformer, the easement to get to it. But in fairness to the point that was raised by Mr. Tyson, are we putting this in a spot that the state very well may need for the right of way? And B, if we are, do we anticipate an enormous cost on our part if and when we have to move it to a different location? I know it's Texas, New Mexico's, but will we have to pay extra if it has to be relocated?
I think I can answer that. And the where the transformer is going, I think the pictures Carl sent may not have a good frame of reference, but it's actually, and I think you may be on the phone, so you may not be able to see it if I can share a screen, but I can try to share a screen of a.
I'll understand contextually.
So it's it's kind of behind the Nolan Ryan Center. It's really on the, you know where the parking lot is on the south side of the building that runs the full length kind of over. It's
correct, right.
End of that. So if you were to come in off Childress Road and drive straight through that parking lot and basically run straight through the curb at the end, it's right there.
Right.
And so
okay, so if we had to move the transformer, we'd have to move the whole Nolan Ryan Center.
Exactly. It's actually further from the road than the building is.
Right. Okay. That's fine. I understand what you're saying, and I just wanted to double check to be clear. So I understand. Thank you.
Regent Hackard.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what Dick was referring to is that Grand Parkway, that the latest I've heard that it's not going to keep coming this way toward Alvin for a good long time. They were predicting this next year for them to start heading this way, but the latest I heard that it got nixed at the state level for a while.
There is, I've mentioned this to others in other meetings. There is if you go to the Pearland Chamber of Commerce website, they did a presentation, TxDOT did a presentation covering that recently at their September luncheon. If you go to the September luncheon and you can get that PowerPoint that speaks to that if you're interested in it. So, did someone else have a question or comment?
I was just going to comment on the Grand Parkway item. We did put a lot of thought into the building about if the Grand Parkway were to come in, and on that side of the building towards the highway, it's still on the college property, and it would be far enough away where it'd be, there is an equipment yard going in there, and we are putting a screen wall in, so you're not seeing that from the highway. And there are a few exhaust fans that have to go towards the top of the building, and we are putting in some trees to kind of help shield it. We did fly a drone out back when we first kind of showed up and flew it at the height of where the a Grand Parkway overpass would be there, just to kind of see what you would see from a car level. And so we've a lot of stuff we've been doing is kind of with that in mind, if that does come through, just because you'll have a different perspective of the college once you're on an overpass versus ground level.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Dr. A. Regents, if we have no further questions, I'm going to call the question, and I will just call your name if you would respond with your answer, please. Vice Chair Draghi?
Yes.
Secretary Hertenberger?
Yes.
Regent Tackard?
Yes.
Regent Starkey?
Yes.
Regent Marvel? Regent Shelton?
Yes.
Regent Marvel, are you there?
And Regent
Okay.
Marvel, *6 will unmute you if you are muted.
Regent Marvel? Okay.
Bell, can
Chair-
you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, I vote yes.
thank you. And Chair Sanchez votes yes. So I think that gives us a 7-0 vote, Ms. Giffro, on that motion. And so with that business being taken care of, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Regent Tackard moves that we adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by,
Shelton.
take your choice, Tammy. Let's say Regent Starkey seconds that. All in favor, say hands up if I can see you. Regent Shelton and Marvel, do you agree on adjournment?
Aye,
Yes.
aye, aye.
Good, good. So we are adjourned.